Hey everyone, what's going on? Today is June 22nd, 2019. In this video, I want to briefly talk about the death of the grandmother of the series Counting On, whose name is Mary Duggar. Just saw a news story earlier this morning that she passed away on June 9th, suddenly, after being discovered floating in her own swimming pool, her cause of death being drowning. And in this video, we're going to talk about the language of numerology, of which Gematria is a key component. This language of letters and numbers rooted in the ancient Hebrew, Greek alphabets, which were both lettering and numbering systems. And it turns out the English alphabet is this same way as well. We'll look at the English ordinal cipher, which numbers the alphabet 1 through 26, and we'll also look at the reduction, also known as Pythagorean gematria methods, which use the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. And we'll compare this with dates on the calendar a little bit and just show you how this all ties into the Eclipse crucifixion code, which is a centerpiece of my work. And we discuss how people seem to be dying by a code, and we're not all sure if all these people are being murdered or if this is some sort of mystical code of life and death that's embedded within the story of Jesus Christ and his crucifixion in the New Testament. So first, let's start off with the alphabetic order, the simplest and perhaps most important cipher. I want to point out that the word grandma, using the alphabetic order, G the 7th letter, R the 18th, A the 1st, and so on, if you add these numbers together, you get a sum of 58. The name Duggar, again in the alphabetic order, also equals 58. And in this case, Grandma Duggar was found floating in her pool. Pool sums to 58 as well. Now, this Eclipse crucifixion code is not something that only I know about. Of course, these mainstream media outlets will pay tribute to this code as well. And this is clearly done through the numbers in this case, perhaps more clearly than anyone I've seen before. Notice how the last timestamp that CNN placed on this article, last updated on June 13th, was 2:27 p.m. The phrase Eclipse crucifixion code sums to 227 in the alphabetic order. This number's significance traces back to the ancient Hebrew language, where the phrase for total eclipse sums to 227. And if you're familiar with the story of Jesus' crucifixion in the New Testament, you may know that the skies fell dark when this occurred, and a lot of historians believe that there was a solar eclipse occurring during the crucifixion. In fact, Jesus' crucifixion equals 227 in reverse. So does Christ at the Cross, which is one of the names of this painting that you see here. This painting, by the way, completed in 1870, like the phrase total eclipse 187. There's another significant form of gematria called English extended. This is shown on the left side of your screen. And the way this method is constructed mirrors the ancient Hebrew gematria and Greek isopsephy charts by increasing or extending the numbers instead of reducing them. So this produces much, much larger values. And notice how in this English extended cipher, we get a gematria value of 1433. And isn't it interesting that this is the 227th prime number? This is especially significant considering this same phrase sums to 227 in the alphabetic order. And here we're talking about Grandma Mary Duggar, whose name in this same method also sums to 1433. Now, when we're looking at Eclipse crucifixion code in reduction, the simple Pythagorean gematria chart, notice how it sums to 119. And would you believe that the video CNN put on their page is exactly 1 minute and 19 seconds in length. So here I'm talking about the Eclipse crucifixion code, which by the numbers, as you can see, sums to 227 and 119. Both of these numbers stamped directly into this article. Now, in this English extended cipher, the phrase total eclipse equals 713. The word drowned equals 713. So does the phrase fell into her pool, 713. And we're going to look at more gematria of this phrase in a minute, but here it says right in the headline, Mary Duggar fell into her pool. And of course, it's not quoted exactly, but I'm going to point out how the rest of these numbers tie into this as well before the end of the video. Furthermore, just to show how drowning has to do with the eclipse code, the word drown equals 74, 61, and 29. These are the same numbers found in the name of Jesus. 74, 61, and 29 with the S exception. The word eclipse equals 69 in the alphabetic order. Mary Duggar's death fell on the date June 9th, written 6/9. And if you include the end date, her death fell exactly a span of 3 weeks and 3 days before this year's total solar eclipse. In reduction, notice how eclipse sums to 33. And remember, this June 9th date was pretty significant. It was the same day that David Ortiz was allegedly shot in the Dominican Republic. Please feel free to see my post, linked in this post, talking about how this ritual was entirely by the numbers as well. Also worth pointing out how drown sums to 704 in English extended. In Jewish gematria, the other large number cipher I teach, this method based in the ancient Latin alphabetic order, a very significant language, total solar eclipse equals 704 in this Jewish cipher. So does Grandmother Duggar, 704. She's also got the 181. Jesus the Messiah, 181. Also notice how the name Duggar sums to 104 in reverse, which is the ordinal value of drowning, 104. 104 also found in the gematria of total solar eclipse in the reverse order. So there's a little bit more than just the eclipse code at play here, and I want to point out something very interesting about this family's numerology. So on the left side of your page, we're looking at the Duggar family blog, and this blog contains all the birth dates of all the children, all the grandchildren, the anniversary dates. I mean, this is the kind of website that is just awesome to someone like me. You know, all these dates in one place. You got to love it. But here's what I found very interesting about this family's numerology. So down here we see how Grandma Duggar, the topic of this video, was born on May 26th, 1941. Well, as chance would have it, Grandma Duggar just recently welcomed her 13th grandchild into the world. Ivy Jane Seawald was born on May 26th of this year. So that means on her 78th birthday, she had her 13th grandchild, Ivy Jane Seawald. Both of them born on the same date, May 26th. The name Ivy Jane Seawald has a couple of interesting numbers in relation to this. Down here we see the 278. Ivy Jane Seawald, born on her grandma's 78th birthday. I guess you could also say it was the first day of her grandmother's 79th year. And this name also sums to 79 in reverse reduction. But what's more interesting about this is that Ivy Jane Seawald sums to 155 and 56. This is the same gematria as her grandmother's name, Mary Duggar, 155 and 56. Understand that these numbers, 115 and 155, also found in the gematria of the word killing. 115 in two of these main ciphers, and then 155 extended. And in regards to this newborn baby being her 13th grandchild, the phrase human sacrifice sums to 130. And we see often how 13 is a number of sacrifice. In fact, 13 equals 347, which is the Hebrew value of the word sacrifice. Furthermore, 347 is the 69th prime number, and Mary Duggar dead on the date June 9th, or 6/9. In English, sacrifice equals 73 and 62. These numbers also found in the gematria of Grandma Duggar, 73 and 62. But to top this off, and what really ties this together, the name Ivy Jane Seawald, you'll see in English extended, this sums to 1820. The television series Counting On, from which Mary Duggar is known, debuted on December 13th of 2015. Which means that if you measure from the date that series premiered to the date of Grandma Duggar's death, it was exactly 182 weeks and 0 days. Just like her new grandchild's name sums to 1820 in English extended. And what really is kind of creepy about this is how fell into her pool equals 182 in the alphabetic order. Also notice the 223 in reverse. Ivy Jane Seawald equals 223 reverse. This 83 in reduction is also kind of interesting because, again, looking at Hebrew gematria, the phrase for total eclipse, which more directly translates to full eclipse in that language, here we see the 227 from before, but the 83 stands out because this is also the gematria of solar eclipse in Hebrew. Fell into her pool. You know, I don't commonly gematrinate phrases like this that aren't necessarily quoted by the media, but I mean, this was the first thing I typed in, and all the numbers popped matching perfectly with everything that I was already posting about. So something very strange is going on, and you wonder, you know, who the hell would murder a woman like this? And is it true that these people are getting murdered, or are these numeric alignments so perfect that they couldn't possibly be crafted by people? Personally, I don't know. I think it's a mix, you know. I think we're getting both organic numerology in these deaths. I think we're also seeing murders. As far as this one, I have no idea, but I could be swayed in either direction, I suppose. So, thanks to the few of you who jumped in on this early morning live stream. It does seem like, you know, could have definitely been a murder. So I see people might agree with me. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this quick video. I got a lot going on today, so I got to run. Thanks to everybody who jumped in, whether you're watching live or archived. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, as once again, this content is facing censorship. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace, love, and God bless. Adios.